Hey, what's going on, guys? Zilix here. I just wanted to make a fuse guide because I haven't really seen a high level one yet. I have seen some tips and tricks here, but seeing as I played fuse all the way through the ranked season this split and I hit masters with him, I figured I would throw my 2 cents in the mix too. So right away off the bat, I would say that Fuse is actually a B tier legend. If you play him at a higher level, he can be A tier, but most of the time I see people play him, he's around a B tier. His greatest strength for me is that he's good at zoning people, not necessarily the damage that he puts out. So the bulk of your damage should actually be from gunfire. If it's not, you gotta hit the range. You gotta get into some kind of aim training, whether that be Aim Labs, Kovacs, or Apex Trainer, one of those to help you get better at the game and improve your aim. The other thing you're going to want to do is make sure that you're practicing your movement too, knowing when to slide, knowing if you're going to wall bounce, then knowing when to wall bounce and things like that. And also playing around cover. I don't want to go too much into depth on those. I'll make separate videos on those. So for now, we'll start with Fuse's abilities. The first one we're going to talk about is Grenadier, his passive. Now this lets him stack 2 of each nade type, so no matter if you have a backpack or not, you're probably going to want to stack at least 1 set of grenades. And the best thing about Fuse is he gets to do different things with each grenade. Notice how with the Frag Grenade I can bank shot off of walls. This lets me throw right behind the enemy, say they have a rampart or something, I throw it over their shield, bounce it off the ceiling. It makes for great plays. With the Arc Star, I can shoot it directly at somebody. It has higher velocity, a lot more accurate. Same thing with the thermites. The thermites are a really good tool to cut off your path if you're running into a tunnel, into a door, and then give you a couple seconds to pop another heal off. Another thing to note is that 2 of the grenades will actually only explode after impact, unlike the Frag Grenade, which will explode after a timer of being launched. One of my favorite uses of the Frag Grenade is to shoot it at a team that's far enough away to where it will explode near impact. You should also note that not every grenade type has the same launch path. With Arc Stars and Thermites, I sometimes shoot them up to get on high ground to force the team off of a holding position to keep me on low ground. I also do this to teams that are far away if I'm going to zip across or jump pad across to something. Alright, the next thing we're going to discuss is Fuse's Knuckle Cluster, his tactical ability. It's a 25-second cooldown, does 10 damage on impact, takes about a second and a half till it explodes, dealing up to 50 damage AoE, meaning you can hit multiple targets for that 50 damage. And while it doesn't affect teammates, it can hurt yourself and it can bounce off your teammate's hitbox. Let me show you how big this hitbox is. Pay attention to where I can hit the enemy. It's a pretty wide hitbox, which is actually really bad to play near your teammates when you're trying to launch this. If you're trying to counter this, then run away from where it impacts, or just run away after the second and a half because the AoE doesn't follow you even if it sticks you. Now, last but not least, we want to go over the Mother Load, Fuse's ultimate. Now, this cooldown is only for 120 seconds or 2 minutes, which is why I think Fuse can be an A tier legend. Not only can it zone people out really hard, but it has the potential to do a lot of damage. Some key tips you need to know is that it's best used on level ground or lower ground. It's so much easier to aim because wherever you're looking is where the ult is trying to arc over to and land. You really don't want to overshoot it on accident because you're trying to shoot it on higher ground, but you accidentally aim above the higher ground and shoot it farther away. One of my favorite uses of Fuse's ult is to get away from really bad situations. Right here, I will show you how you can block off this ramp and basically buy you time to either pop a heal and go back into the fight or to run away. Now, this might not be the best example to show you because an Octane, Pathfinder, Horizon can get over this pretty easily, or someone can run around it because there's so much open ground. So let me show you how you can use it almost like a thermite in a better scenario. So notice I'll hit myself here, but I only take a little bit of damage and I'm not burning. This also applies to enemies too. If they initially get hit, they have to cross over the fire after it explodes to take the bigger damage. And at this point, I can throw another grenade because there's so many indicators around the fire that the enemy might not see the nade, if they're pushing, that is. Another way I like to use the ult is to capture people in a building or in a structure. And many times those teams are really confused and they start splitting up and they break down in their organization. One of the last things I want to note is you cannot use the ult while on the zip line, but you can use the tactical while you're on the zip line. Some of the legends that I do want to talk about that I believe synergize very well are going to be Caustic, Horizon, most definitely Horizon, because you got the height and you could throw your ult better or your tactical better. And then she has her ult that normally pulls people back through fire, which is great to get more damage on a team or to lock them into your ring of fire. Caustic is, I put him there because his ultimate kind of fits in the middle of Fuse's ultimate. Again, just like having the idea of trapping a team in. Octane's really good because Octane is mobility, and it's always good to have a mobility character, but Octane can get you on high ground, same with Pathfinder. And again, Horizon can get you on that high ground. Bangalore is actually another good one because if you already have them trapped, Bangalore ult will actually make them panic even more. Gibraltar is a good one because if you're getting Rev Octane pushed, you can actually pop the ultimate inside of a bubble and it'll do extra damage when they try to do the push or they run out of time. Not to mention the defensive bombardment just again adds to the ring of fire damage. As far as characters that I think Fuse are strong against is anybody that cannot get out of his ultimate. I've killed a lot of Gibbies because I throw my ultimate right around the Gibby bubble. I've killed a lot of other characters that aren't matched with another mobility character like a Wraith, an Octane, a Horizon that can get their team out of a bad situation. Rampart is another character I deal with very well, and even Caustics because my Knuckle Cluster is about the same timer as the traps, but my Knuckle Cluster is an AoE and I can stack grenades and I can keep shooting out other traps too, so I could whittle down the traps before I push into a building. As far as characters Fuse is weak against, again, mobility characters, but on top of that, Watson is like the #1 counter for Fuse for abilities, but that shouldn't be a problem if you can aim. Well, that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you for watching up to this point. Please leave a like, follow, and comment if you enjoyed the video. If this video does well and you guys would like to see more content like this, just let me know, and maybe we'll get into either other legends, maybe other training guides like for aim, for movement, and things of that nature, and I can put it out for you guys. Other than that, be blessed and frag out.
Listen.